A lot of people, when it comes to scaling a supplement or health company, what they'll do is they will focus very heavily on the product side of things. They'll make their product so good. They'll get the best connections, the best contractors or people working for them. They will make this product or service so freaking good. And there's nothing wrong with that. The only problem with that is that when it actually comes time to getting clients and scaling, getting sales, they're clueless. Okay? So in today's video, what I'm gonna do is I have pretty much a one-on-one interview slash lecture, which I'm gonna go through, pretty much talking about how to run ads if you have any sort of health or supplement company. This specific person that I'm talking to has a semaglutide company which provides semaglutide and various forms of semaglutide to customers. And in this video, what we're going to talk about is how to get clients as a semaglutide and supplement company or even a health company. So stick around. This is going to be a great video. Let's jump into it.
All right, so I am here with Sophia. Sophia has a semaglutide company who helps pretty much women pretty much find weight loss solutions, get help losing weight, getting healthy, living their best, fullest life. She is a very disciplined entrepreneur, and we've been working together for, it's been about a month or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. It's a little different than your normal group, but yeah, it's been exciting.
It's been exciting. Before we jump into the ads, do you want to kind of briefly share with us how you got to this point, how you were able to kind of like, get to this point where we're able to kind of go into a full launch with ads now?
Yeah. So, like he mentioned, I'm a telehealth company, and what we do is we sell medical weight loss completely asynchronously, which is just online. So it is essentially e-commerce is the easiest way to compare it. And what happens is a patient will go online, they'll choose the medical weight loss that they're interested in, and then based on that, they'll then go through a series of questions that then enables them to know whether or not they're qualified for the medication. And on the back end, we have doctors in 50 states that then will verify that they don't have any contraindications to the medication, that they're good to go. And once that's done, then the medication is sent via a script to whatever pharmacy is in the area of the patient. And then it's shipped directly to their door. So it's almost like a drop shipping Amazon style method. And it's been quite a journey to get to the point where we can run ads. A lot of how do I say it? Like the barrier to entry is pretty high just because of all the different issues that come up with finding the doctor, MSA agreements, or an MSOPC, agreement with doctors to make sure that it is all legally compliant. But once you get to this stage, now what we have is the amazing opportunity to work now with Ashton here, and he's really savvy and competent with ads. And that's really what our main focal point of the call was, trying to be centered around, which is really just understanding the different social media platforms and how they work and the best methods or the best videos to utilize or incorporate for getting the lowest cost per lead and the most traffic to the site. So that's the goal.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. So we're gonna just jump into today. This is gonna be a longer form video. We're just gonna jump into kind of like pretty much a basic overview of ads. I'm gonna run you guys through the strategy. So like if you're watching this and you're not a supplement company or a company that is, I guess, involved more along the vertical that Sophia is involved in, it's gonna be obviously different, more aligned towards that. But yeah, so let's jump into it. So pretty much before I'm gonna share my screen here. Okay, so with ads, okay, so pretty much with ads, people think that like ads are like the thing that's gonna scale their business. They think it's the thing that's gonna like bring them from like 0 to 100K in like a month. And it's not ads, right? Like we were talking about this before, Sophia, as well. Ads are a surface level thing. You have to have a specific mindset to really be able to get and drive results, right? So with like even myself with my agency, I've worked with tons of companies, tons of people before, and ads they think is going to be like this night and day difference for them. Okay. And we run ads and then we realize that it's actually them that's the bottleneck. Okay. So what I pretty much prepared here is like what I realized is 99% of the success from ads is not actually from ads, but is actually from yourself. So what I realized is how can you as an entrepreneur, as a disciplined person, how can you weather through the storm? How can you spend over 200, 300, 400, 500,000 dollars a day potentially, not see results for a little bit of time, but still be confident? Okay. And it's that confidence that's key. Okay. Because personally, like I've had I had a client, I think this was I think 2 weeks ago, he reached out to me. And he's like, hey man, we've spent over $1,000, but we haven't gotten any clients yet. He has a high ticket fitness coaching company. And I said, dude, that's the name of the game, right? It's like that. That's how ads work. Ads is not a night and day thing to go from 0 to 100K. Okay. Like I've had several clients who have done this thinking that it's going to take them to like this next level point in their business, and it's totally flopped because what most people will do, and maybe this might sound familiar to you, Sophia. I don't really know your experience with ads, but most people will run ads. They won't really set self expectations. So like imagine going into like a stock trade and you don't visualize when you're going to leave that trade, or you don't think, okay, I'm going to sell my position once it hits this price. It's the same thing with ads. You have to understand and set proper expectations for yourself. Okay. And then let's say you're down on your position. Okay. You see $1,500 leave your bank account. As an ads person, they're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I haven't gotten any clients. And they try to hyper optimize their ads to make them better. Okay. Then they lose progress on the ads that were already collecting data, already giving them insights, already gathering impressions and forming a feedback loop. And then they turn off their ads because they want to save money. And it's just this vicious cycle of pretty much emotional unintelligence. That's what I'll say. It's emotional unintelligence because it all starts from the self expectations. Okay. If you don't set a proper expectation for yourself of, okay, I'm looking to make this much money, or I'm looking to get to this point, and I don't care if 1,500, 15,000, 20,000 leaves my bank account, I'm going to stick to my original thesis. Okay. Then like that's the name of the game with ads. Okay. So just going to harp on this once more. Most people, when they run ads, okay, they don't have proper expectations at all, and they just jump into it thinking that it's going to take them from 0 to 100K a month. Okay. As a founder, Sophia, you have to set expectations and you have to understand what are you trying to get out of this. Okay. And me as an agency, me as someone who's going to help you with that, it is my goal as well to help you see that, to help you understand that, okay, what is our position? How are we going to progress throughout that position? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So like in the very beginning, right? Like first of all, every like time that you run ads, it's also for the idea of learning what the market wants and also just iterating and improving. So in the very beginning, your expectation should be, with the pixel, like what type of data can I accumulate and learn based on what I've already spent? And then if you don't immediately see a return, obviously you have to spend a period of time that you just allow them to run so that it can accumulate that proper data to then learn what to do next. And so I think that that's probably very valuable and a really good insight is just to have proper expectations in the very beginning of what your goal is, and then to constantly iterate and improve upon what the data of the ads are providing you.
Exactly. Exactly. Right. So it's all that feedback loop, right? And like, have you seen personally this with yourself at all, where you were like, I know you ran ads briefly in the past before, but did you kind of fall into this pattern yourself?
So Of course, right? It is kind of scary when you're doing like what, like 400, $500 a day or $1,000 a day on ads. And if you don't do it right either, and you like try to go in and change them and then like update them, right? Like you're messing with the ads themselves and being able to like, how do I say it? Like, uh, not update, but like improve, right? What is it called? Optimization. There you go. Like it messes with the system. And so the more that you just don't touch it first and like have the expectation that like for an entire week you're going to run these ads and then from there you're going to learn, the better your outcomes will be then later on, because if you don't even allow it enough testing and like build up time, then in the future you're not going to be able to iterate properly on the information that you've accumulated. And so that was always something that was really important and really was like told to me. And then of course I have people that are backing me that like are really obsessed with KPIs and like making sure that at the end of every week, like what numbers have I hit? Like what is my cost per lead? Like how many people fell off? What pages did they fall off of? Like how can we improve that? Like all that data. And like I have other people that are also fact checking me. So it's really good to like have someone else that's like there with you, letting you know that like they're watching and they also want this to succeed. And like you have to have the expectation as the founder or the person that's in charge of this to know that if other people are counting on you, you can't allow then your emotions to control to control you. And so you have to just stay stoic and understand that you're going to be losing money potentially in the very beginning. And if you didn't set expectations right on what type of, results you wanted in terms of how many clients, or your ads aren't done well or whatever the case is, then it's a learning experience to improve upon next time.
Exactly. Like, let me ask you this, Sophia. When you go to the gym, do you just go to the gym and put on a bunch of muscle, or do you slowly put on muscle and slowly get stronger over time?
Entirely the second, right? And then also your body changes too as a result of the amount of time that you've spent like crafting your workouts or crafting your muscles, right? Like you're breaking them down, you're rebuilding them, and like it takes time, which is always not fun to hear, but
Yeah,
the goal is to improve.
exactly. Exactly. And just to kind of continue here as well, pretty much with what I've noticed as well, like it's a lot different, obviously, like when you, even for you as well, Sophia, when you're helping people lose weight and seeing like, let's say 30 of your clients lose weight, it's a lot different looking objectively at everyone versus doing it yourself and the feelings you get from yourself. And it's the same with ads, seeing other people do it and fail and other people do it and win, right? And what I've noticed as well, like, yes, this is a cycle, but why does that cycle happen? It kind of falls back into having a safety net, and then wanting to guarantee that safety net through variation. Okay. So like putting eggs in several different baskets. Oh, I'm going to try a million different things. Oh, I'm going to do this just in case, just in case, just in case. Right? And a lot of the times they're just shooting themselves in the foot. Okay? And pretty much what happens is when someone is all in on ads, 99% of the time they'll have something called an RAS flip. Do you know what RAS stands for, Sophia?
Return on ad spend.
Reticular activation system.
Oh wow.
So we have this portion of our brains
Yeah.
um that let's say I'm eating a hot dog and I have mustard on my face. You're not focusing on what I'm saying. You're just focusing on the mustard that's on my face, correct?
It's kind of like the concept girls go through this often with like never mind. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I understand. Yes, like we're like if you don't notice something, right, and then all of a sudden someone brings that to your attention, then the reticular activating system causes it, where then you start noticing it out around you way more often, and you're like, oh my goodness, why am I seeing this all over the place? Well, it's because your reticular activating system is there, and it's causing you to now be cognizant of something that you weren't once conscious of.
Exactly. Exactly, right? And then that flip is not like a slow gradual flip. It's like a hard night and day flip. Okay? So pretty much same thing happens with ads. Okay? They're all in on ads, and then they have an RAS flip, and they're like, oh my God, 1,500 just left my bank account. Oh my God, 15,000 just left my bank account. Let's look for alternatives quickly. And they literally self-sabotage the ads. They want their ads to do shit, so they have a reason to quit them. Okay? And it's so twisted, but it's just the truth. I have so many clients who have tried ads before, or people who've just reached out to me to try ads before, and they'll spend money and then quickly find a way to sabotage those ads, even though they're still spending money. So it's super twisted. Okay. Pretty much what's the solution to this? Pretty straightforward. Have an objective view, not a subjective view. Okay. So too many people will come to me and say, I want to run ads. They run ads and quickly get emotional when they realize shit is hitting the fan. They don't have the emotional whereabouts, the emotional maturity to look through an objective lens and spend money on a delayed gratification type basis. Okay. So delayed gratification doesn't just exist when you're in the gym. It doesn't just exist in business as well. It exists a lot in ads. Okay. So I had a client come to me recently and said, you know, we've spent over, I think I just told you this, we spent over 1,000 and we haven't gotten a client yet. Ads are not a get rich quick scheme. If it was a get rich quick scheme, the market would quickly equalize it as well. Ads are the literal definition of delayed gratification. Ads aren't subject to the laws of delayed gratification. It is almost like if I approached you and said you can lose 30 pounds in 10 days with this workout program. If I said that, you'd be like, that's bullshit. Okay. Same thing happening with ads. You can make 100K in 2 days with ads. Okay. Has it been done before? Sure. But for most people, that's not the route to take with ads. Okay. Success will always be delayed. You can work out for over 6 months and see little progress, but it's the ones who can continually work out for several years that will see progress. So it's not about building an acquisition system once and then you build it once and then it's good forever. It's about building it once and then refining it forever. Okay. So like you said before, small data points adding up over time. Do you have any kind of specific questions at this point, or is this making sense?
No, yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome. Okay. And then pretty much when I was first starting out, I did cold calls, I did cold outbounds. This was like when I was first starting my agency. Personally, I wanted to quit so many times to find an easier alternative. Okay. I realized that gratification will always be delayed. And if I thought otherwise, I was just subjecting myself to failure. So this is also another red pill for you, Sophia. A lot of the times people will have a proven acquisition system that is difficult to do but works, and then they'll switch to ads thinking that it's easier. Okay? That was a big unique insight that I found personally as well. Okay? And this is not me shitting on ads. I love ads. I run ads. Like ads are my thing, but like a lot of people just don't have the emotional understanding of like what most people go through when it comes to running ads. Okay. And even just the fact of you looking, even if the fact of you wanting to look for an alternative other than ads, what has happened? You're automatically having an RAS flip. Okay. And that's just a snowball effect to you finding another method and then trying to find negativities in your current method. Okay. So it's difficult, but you have to keep this in the back of your mind throughout the next couple months, Sophia. Okay.
Yeah. Ashton, sorry to interrupt you. Didn't mean to cut you off there. Do you mind if I say something real quickly?
For sure.
Okay, so this is actually really interesting though, like that we're talking about this because obviously like the main outcome or the main goal is to have something or a product and a system and like your people so good that you have a referral based continuous referral based acquisition channel that is amazing, right? And systematized. But then with ads themselves, if we were just to go niche into that, right? Like the concept kind of is it's like you choose one platform, one like ideal avatar and like one method, and then you scale it to a certain number. But what Ashton and I were talking whenever we first got started with is that we're actually going to try with a couple different platforms just because I've never done TikTok ads or I've never done certain ads in different mediums. And I want to see which ones are the potentially the best platforms to use for my particular product. And I kind of wanted you to like touch on that a little bit, Ashton, and kind of explain like the methodology or like the thinking behind that so that people have like a good understanding of the fact that like, yes, you absolutely can scale on one channel and one medium, but there's nothing wrong, in the very beginning on trying or testing different methods.
You definitely should stick with one though. This is the thing, not one platform, one acquisition system. Okay. So ads are just a form of organic content, right? What is an ad, Sophia?
Like in general, like the old, what is his
What?
name? The Ogilvy like idea of like what an advertisement is.
Yeah, what's an advertisement?
I suppose the way that I would explain it, and I could be wrong here, is like just displaying your product to the public in a manner that is meant to captivate them and cause them to want to purchase, like a call to action, maybe.
It's something that gets sales. Okay. So if it gets sales, it is getting sales, period. Okay. So that's the direct response method, right? So what we're doing when we're building these ads with organic content or with paid, we're just finding the best way to get sales. Okay. And that's one method of getting sales. One method of getting sales. Okay. Because if we, it's all connected, organic, paid, etc. Okay. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Awesome. Okay. So, um, pretty much with the testing, sorry, what was your question? I'm blanking now.
It was just like, why test different social media platforms initially? Like,
Um,
why run ads on Facebook as well as TikTok as well as Instagram?
the only, I would say it mostly just stems from, where your clients truly are in a sense. Okay. So the message, um, like I said before, what is advertising? Advertising is finding a message that gets sales. Okay. But who is clicking and getting sales? Who is buying? Okay. And for you, it's women. Okay. Now the next question is, where are these women? Does
Hmm.
that make sense? So,
Yeah.
so that's kind of, obviously that diversification when it comes to platforms. But when it comes to message, there is very little diversification, Sophia. There's not
Yeah.
TikTok message that's different than an Instagram message. Okay. And there's not an organic message that's different from an ads message. It's all the same thing. Okay.
It's just where your clients reside.
Exactly. Cool. Okay. And then, um, well, what I was saying here is yes. Okay. So, moral of this writing is to show you that you can run ads and not make money for a while. You can run ads and lose money, but it is the ones who are adaptable and can shift the quickest are the ones who will win. The ones who can weather through the storm are the ones who are going to be able to see the rainbow. So I don't know, Sophia, if you've read any evolutionary psychology, um, evolution in general. It's not the strongest, it's not the fastest. It's the people who are the most adaptable are the people that are going to win.
Mm.
Which is definitely something to think about as well. And even Alex Hormozy said this as well. Like this is paraphrased, but he says that he'll run ads for like 6 months, break even for those 6 months, and then find an angle or something that's gotten a lot of data, put all his eggs into that basket, and then just ramp it up.
Mm. Mm.
Put his entire budget into that, and then he'll crush, and then he'll get like a 20x return on ad spend. Okay,
Mhm.
so pretty much, this is I hope this is kind of making sense and how like with ads, it's not just, oh, do this one copywriting hack or oh, do this small little tweak to your creative. No. It's a lot about who you are as a person.
Yeah,
Do you have any
100%.
questions at this point, or is this making sense?
No, yeah, no questions. I love the comparison of like Darwin to Alex Hormozy, which is like Alex Hormozy's like the god of the marketing agencies and the marketing people, and so the Darwinian thinking with Hormozy is great. I'm ready for this. Let's do it.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. So, um, and even as well, this is another red pill. So these are just kind of like unique insights. I was just sitting in it. You know what I was doing yesterday? I was sitting in a cafe and I was just kind of like writing my unique insights. And this is another red pill as well. Um, even with ads as well. I think I shared this earlier, but there's no one way to get clients that's better than others. Ads work, outbound works, email works. It's just a message. What is advertising, Sophia? It's what gets sales. Sales messages stay consistent across different platforms. It's what is the message? Okay. So It's just which way that you want that gives you the most leverage, the most sales. So if you're going to run ads, you need to understand that pretty much number one, you will not see results instantly. It's not going to be turned on and you're not going to go 0 to 100K. B, not quit instantly when you begin to spend money. And C, always look objectively. Take the data at face value and don't act on how you feel. You will most likely be wrong. I've spent over like I've honestly probably wasted over like 20, 25K on just ads that have gone nowhere. And like, does it suck? For sure it sucks, but what did that do for me that allowed me to gain more insights and make ads where I spend 20K and make back 60? Spend 20K and make back 100. Okay? So, I hope this all kind of makes sense, and I hope this is making sense and sticking in your brain.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run you guys through pretty much Facebook and just some basic stuff with platforms. There's like pollen all over my laptop.
I'm grabbing water real quick.
So what I want to go through is I want to talk about Facebook, which and TikTok, but I want to talk about the ads platforms in general. Just as an overview of what the platforms are. Okay. So actually, let me pull up the document that I made for this. Just give me 2 secs, guys. Okay. So pretty much with ads, what your goal is with ads obviously is to form some sort of lever. What is a lever? A lever is something that you put in some sort of input and you get some sort of output. And same with anything in business, in fitness, in whatever you do, you want your inputs to be disproportional to your outputs. Correct? So let's say I am spending an hour doing something, I want an output on my hour. Let's say I spend an hour working, I want to make money on my hour. Okay? There's some people who work for 16 hours a day, but they'll make $10 a day. Okay? And then there's some people who work an hour a day and make $160,000 a day. Okay? Is the work the like what is the difference? It is the amount of leverage. Okay? With ads, what we're hoping to do is we're hoping to form this lever. So imagine a vending machine where you put $1 into the vending machine and you get $15 out in return. Is that a disconnect between the input and the output? Of course it is. Okay? So what we're hoping to do is make that input to output ratio larger. What is that called? That's called return on ad spend. Okay? So if my ROAS is 1 to 15, for every $1 I put in, I get 15. And then what can I do with that 15? I can put that 15 back in and then multiply that 15 by another 15. Okay. So with ads, that's pretty much what we're hoping to do. Do you guys know, like Sophia, I know a lot of people don't really understand how ads platforms actually work, but do you know, like Meta's worth 1.3 trillion. Do you know what that consists of?
Do you mind explain, what do you mean exactly? Like,
Like-
do I know why Meta makes 1.3 trillion?
Here, McEwen Mining. They're one of the biggest. They're one of the biggest gold companies in Canada. McEwen Mining, let's say market cap, 1.3 billion. Okay. That 1.3 billion is made and built off of gold assets. They own 1.3 billion of gold assets, maybe some land, facilities, tractors, whatever. Okay?
Yeah.
For this, what is that 1.3 trillion that Meta owns? Do they own like what is it? Like, is it real estate? Is it
Data?
what is it? Sorry?
Data?
Bingo. So pretty much with Meta, they're selling data. And this is
Yeah.
what a lot of people don't realize. Obviously, when you go on Instagram, Facebook, you scroll, like they have a they pretty much have a specific objective that they're trying to get from you. So like you scroll on Facebook, you scroll on Instagram, you make a profile on these apps. What they're actually doing is they are tracking everything you do, but they're not tracking everything you do just for like, oh, for fun, ha ha ha, to sell it to advertisers, of course. Okay. So they collect data about what you like, how you like it, what you don't like, when you like it, etc. Like, for example, have you ever gone on someone else's Instagram and been like, how do you like this? Like, how do you go like, ew? Have you gone on your mom's Instagram before and been like, what the fuck?
Like, why is this your algorithm?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So using that same logic, imagine going to a restaurant and rather than them showing you the menu and you can choose what you want to be served, they will simply bring you exactly what you're feeling like in that exact moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Imagine that. That's kind of scary. That's
It's
a little
dangerous.
That's dangerous. At a restaurant, you go, you got to look at the menu. But imagine they're just like, oh, based on how you're feeling right now, I'm going to give you this small little thing or this whatever thing. Crazy. And they have 3.59 billion active users. What's the Earth population? Like 9 billion, 8 billion, something like that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So they have data of over 3.6 billion people. They're always doing updates to make the algorithm more accurate and overall better at figuring out what interests you are more likely to click on. Okay. Now imagine going to the same restaurant listed above. So that example, but now instead of getting the perfect meal, they're giving you this meal for several hours of the day, multiple times for 6 hours and 40 minutes. Is that a good business? Yes or no?
I would say so.
Imagine a restaurant that has 3.5 billion active users that come for 6 hours and 40 minutes of the day, every day, and feed you whatever you feel like, whenever you feel like it.
Wow, 6 hours and 40 minutes. That's wild. Every day on their phone. Wow.
Craziness. Okay. So it's crazy. Like most cafes, for example, this is a side note as well. If you go, like, why does Starbucks have like nice seating and comfortable scents and stuff? It's because they want you to stay, so then you're more likely to purchase. So why is a algorithm addictive? They want you to stay, so you're more likely to purchase. Okay, so It's not just, oh, it's only with Meta, or oh, it's only with TikTok. It's like, look at every business. The business models are the same. It's just you have to retain the amount of interaction with your platform. That platform can be a cafe, that platform can be social media.
Yeah.
Okay. So Facebook is then taking this data, packing it up, and selling it to advertisers. These advertisers are taking this data, selling things to them with precision. Okay. So that's pretty much kind of my run through of how ads work. And kind of like with leverage, why you need to, obviously, like, ads are one of the most leveraged things on this planet when it comes to actually getting clients. Because what you're doing is you are asking Facebook, hey, Facebook, you know, in order for me to sell something, I need an offer. So I need an offer. And then I need multiplied by targeted eyeballs. So people who are most likely to purchase, and that will equal money. Okay. What Facebook is doing now, this is like the oldest, this is like, period. If you were Christopher Columbus pitching the Queen of Spain to travel to, North America, it's the same thing. Okay. This equation is just fundamental in terms of business, in terms of commerce for the longest time. Okay. What is your offer? Who are you pitching it to? That's going to equal your outcome. Okay. And what Facebook has now done, or TikTok has now done, or what social medias have now done with 6 hours and 40 minutes of screen time, with 3.5 billion active users, with 1.3 trillion dollars of data. What they have now done is they have just taken this and just been like, I got you, don't even worry about it. Okay, I got you, it doesn't even matter, don't worry about it. Okay, so what now we get is offer equals money. Okay, so now we don't have to worry about this. We don't have to worry about, before it was like, oh, you got to go find the right people to pitch to. It's all a volume game. Go pitch to people, go pitch to people. But now it's a offer game. How can we make our sales letters, and how can we make our offers? How can we craft the most compelling, persuasive argument regarding our service? Because that is directly correlated to money. It's not, yes, we got to find where the people are. Yes, but these algorithms are so precise. They are so good at finding those people that we only pretty much need to focus on our offer. What is our offer? Our offer is our sales, pretty much our sales argument. So how we persuade people. What are the certain linguistic patterns we're using? Are there edits to our videos? Are we doing videos? Are we doing text? Are we writing copy? Are we making like a Hormozi style reel? This is pretty much everything that has to do with an ad. Okay. Is this making sense so far, Sophia?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So what I'm now going to do is I'm just going to run you through a basic overview of natural selection. Okay. You see how we're not talking about ads?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Okay. So let's do this.
Wouldn't your offer just be like the value equation? Like how much of like all those things you could just incorporate into your ad to make people want to purchase? Like make it as easy as possible, make it as, cost efficient if that's your model. Make it, with the least amount of pain or time that it takes for them to acquire the outcome. And then like, what is the other one? Like delayed gratification? Yeah, no, I already did that one. Like that would be your offer, right? Like making an offer too good to say no, essentially, right? Like how compelling can you make your offer? And then how targeted can it be towards the individual that you're trying to seek? So like how niche are you? And if you're really niche, then like can you speak their language?
Exactly. But pretty much what happens is, let's say, Sophia, let's say I start a taxi company, and I look around and I see that everyone has yellow taxis, and I say, oh, I'm just gonna make my taxis yellow,
Hmm.
right?
You don't have any differentiation.
So if the reason I say that is, if everyone is saying X, and you come in and say X times X, then you still have X. Okay. And the market, like, yeah, the value equation for sure. Yes, it's correct. Yes, you need value, you need all of those four different levers for sure equal value. But you have to think, if everyone is getting pitched that,
Oof, this is so good. Yeah. So yes, Ashton, this is actually something that you and I would love to brainstorm this, like truly, like tactically, which I know like we probably won't do for this video, which is totally fine. But like genuinely, I was reading Larry Ellison's autobiography or biography over like it's called The Difference Between God and Larry Ellison. And it talks about like this time whenever he was running ads. And in his like in this section, it was explaining that like his main goal, oh my god, I literally have right here, it was so good, Ashton, was like the power of differentiation, like what his like number one like thesis is on like what will actually separate you from anyone else is quite literally like how different can you be so that other people can't copy you, and like that's how you actually get market share, because like their main goal was growth, like how many people can they just get, period. And like it made me immediately start brainstorming, which is what's so great about these type of books, is it's like they just like cause you your reticular activating system, right? They just like cause you to start thinking about things and seeing things that you didn't see before that now you can't stop thinking about. And it's like, how can I actually differentiate myself? Like, what are all my competitors doing? And then everything that they're doing are the things that I won't say then. Like I have to do something that is entirely like the blue market strategy, right? Like, or the blue ocean strategy. Like what is actually from another industry that I can take and just incorporate it in mine that seems novel. And
that's
then
one of
here,
the strategies though. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, well then please show me more. Tell me more.
Okay, like, yeah, that's a great point as well. Like, imagine you're a boy, Sophia. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And you are like, oh, I want a girlfriend. So, in order to get a girlfriend, I'm gonna go approach females on the street. Okay? That's your strategy.
Okay.
Okay? And let's say this girl who this guy is about to approach, Sophia as a boy is about to approach me. I'm a girl. Okay? But I've been approached 100 times that day. And every time the boy approaches me, he says the exact same line. Hey, can I get your Snapchat? Let's say he says that. Okay? Now, Sophia understands that everyone says, hey, can I get your Snapchat? And Sophia comes up to me and says something completely different.
Okay.
Completely different. It could be the most dumb comment ever. It could be so illogical. The fact that it's different is a competitive advantage.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes. But that's what I was agreeing with you on, right? Like something
Oh,
that's just different.
exactly. So just the difference is a competitive advantage, of course. But there also has to be an offer. Okay? So imagine you come up to me and you just talk with me. Hey, how are you? And then you don't make an offer. I'm never going to see you again. Okay, bye-bye. Okay? But then you come up. Hey, let's go and do this. Okay, cool. That's the offer. So there has to be obviously a CTA to differentiation, which,
And
sorry?
I said entirely. I agree. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. 100%. 100%. So,
But that's the thing, is it's like, how do you decommoditize yourself? Like what are you able to do or articulate to them that is different? That's the question. Like that's what you ponder, right? Like what is something that could be novel, but not so, for example, Steve Jobs talked about this. Like how can we create like a new opportunity that's not so novel that it makes them scared? Because the minute that you cause something to be seen like too different or too new, it's a human fallacy, like people like don't like too new, so like you have to still make them feel comfortable. So my concept is, it's like, what can I do to differentiate myself? Like what, I can't say that, I'm going to provide them nutrition because everyone is saying that they're going to provide them nutrition. I can't say that like I'll give them like the gym launch model, for example, like nutrition coaching and accountability, right? The accountability thing was huge. It's like someone's going to be there for you every step of the way. And so I'm incorporating that because right now people aren't really doing that at all in my like niche. But I feel like there can be something more, like there can be something different. And if your message can't necessarily be radically different, then the method of marketing that you choose then can be your differentiator, right? So, like this one person in my space decided to do TV ads, and no one had done that. And they just absolutely blew up. And now they're doing like huge poster boards and stuff in the subways of New York. And everyone is just talking about this company. And it's because they chose to do not something that's different in terms of like the ads themselves, but choosing a medium that was entirely novel.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. So they made that shift to TV, and then it was just completely different, the results.
Yeah. And that's what I just, yeah, that's what Ashton, like, that's what I would love to learn is like, what can we do to actually differentiate ourselves from anyone else?
Exactly. Well, I'm on the same page as you. I'm always looking for competitive advantages, and I'm always trying to differentiate with all of my clients, right? So, um, pretty much, there's this book you should read it as well. It's called Breakthrough Advertising, Sophia. Um, I can I can actually send you. I have the digital copy. My friend got it from Iman Katsi. He knows him personally. It's kind of funny. He got it when he was part of his original program. But that's besides the point. Pretty much in this book, um, it talks about stages of the market. Okay. And sure, yes, you can have a competitive advantage through differentiation. But if you're the first in your market, Sophia, it's not necessary. Okay. If you're the first person to invent the cup, are you going to make a cup with 500 different colors? No, it's not necessary. Just put the cup out there, say the cup does this. Here's the cup. People are going to want it because it's new, right? So pretty much with in this book, it talks about stages of the market. Um, and pretty much with the stages of the market, there's first in the market where you just, like I said, with the cup, you just advertise the desire. So they give an example in the book about the price or with cigarettes, okay, with tobacco, and when cigarettes were I guess being invented, where you could just buy them single, not have to roll them yourself or make a cigar or whatever. It was just like, hey, cigarettes X price, and people would buy them. Okay, this was in like the 1920s, I think, early 1900s, 1910s, 1920s. And then second in the market is you pretty much have to advertise the desire but make it bigger. Okay? So this is when pretty much you try to outbid the competition with the desire. So with the tobacco example, you pretty much make the, let's say, tobacco leaves grown in the Himalayas, X price.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it sounds exotic, it's new, it's different. It's like utilizing, yeah, it's like the whole idea about like I think it was like a company for beer or whatever, like just and what's his name? Um oh my goodness, I'm totally blanking. But he essentially told them, he was like, why don't you tell the public how you make your product? And then by doing so, the effort that it takes to like produce it will cause a differentiator in the market.
Wait, repeat that?
Okay, so what they were saying, so for example, the tobacco leaves, right? So you're saying like we have this exotic tobacco leaves, right? That are like are what we incorporate into our cigarettes. And that is a differentiator, right? Or if you have a really complex way to make your product, the
Mm,
time and effort that it
okay.
costs you to make your product increases the value or increases the perceived value of what you're providing to the market.
For sure. Exactly. Exactly. Right. But pretty much just making that desire bigger. So for weight loss, for example, before it was just, hey, lose 10 pounds. Okay, second in the market. Okay, lose 30 pounds. So it becomes a bidding war. Does that make sense? This happened in the SMMA social media marketing space where everyone was bidding on appointments. If you notice that, hey, we'll book you 30 appointments a month. Oh no, we'll book you 90 appointments a month. No, we'll book you 100 appointments a month. And then what happens is the market competes, competes, bigger, bolder claim, bolder claim, bolder claim. Okay. And then third stage, what happens is your market's heard all the claims, all the extremes, mere repetition or exaggeration won't work any longer. What this market needs now is a new device to make these old claims become fresh and believable to them again. In other words, a new mechanism, a new way to make the old promise work. A different process, a fresh chance, a brand new possibility of success where only disappointment has resulted before. Okay? So this is the only thing that, like, Alex Hormozi, 100% he was right. Value equation, 100%. Totally agree with him. But this is where he is. He's just saying this, the desire, make it less effort, bigger outcome. Less effort, bigger outcome. Okay? He doesn't talk about anything else in terms of scaling, in terms of market stages. Okay? Is this making sense so far?
Yeah, this is that new opportunity, right? So like this is what I was saying whenever it comes to like how can you create a new opportunity that's not so novel that it makes them scared to want to purchase, but that is different so that they can actually see, wow, like this person's actually doing something that isn't just filling the noise of what everyone else is doing about this product. Like it's not just having to be bigger, it's a new opportunity, it's a new mechanism, it's a new vehicle for transformation. And it's very conceptually easy to understand, hard to like tactically implement into figuring out how the hell you create your new opportunity. That's the problem. It's like, what is my new opportunity, right? Like, that's the goal of the question.
Exactly. And if you realize, Sophia, this happens in each vertical of your business. Okay? So this happens on a product level, this happens on a marketing level, this happens on a mechanism, like this happens on a fulfillment level, this happens on every sort of level of your business. This happens. Okay?
Mhm.
Does that make sense? So there's stages of development in every portion of your business where you're going to always have to be adapting. Evolutionary. Charles Darwin. There we go.
Mm.
Adaptation. Okay? And then fourth stage, if a competitor has introduced a new mechanism to achieve the same claim performed by your product, and that new mechanism announcement is producing sales, then you counter in this way. Simply elaborate on the successful mechanism, make it easier, quicker, surer, allow it to solve more of the problem, overcome old limitations, just Alex Hormozi it pretty much to the new mechanism.
Mhm.
Okay? So, for example, cigarettes, they introduced this thing where they had like a mouthpiece. Like there was a little mouthpiece that you put the cigarette on, and then you would be able to smoke from the mouthpiece without burning your hands when it was like becoming smaller, like when you were finishing the cigarette. So that is a new mechanism. And then that was in like the 50s. And then that blew up.
Mhm.
Okay. And then what happened is around the 50s, 60s, it shifted to fourth stage. Okay. And then people made this, they made that mouthpiece, but in like different forms. It was like gold, pretty much enlarging on the mechanism.
Yeah, they accessorized it.
Exactly. So I can even just show you the book here. So,
I
sorry.
I love this book.
Oh, you've read it?
It's a good book.
Good job. Awesome. Okay. So pretty much first stage. Yeah, okay. Ken's micronite filter traps tar before they reach your lips. So I think this is still cigarettes. Okay. Second stage, 20,000 filter traps in Viceroy. Parliament, the most important quarter-inch in smoking today, no filter feedback. Fourth stage, dual filter for double the pleasure. Okay. So it's just enlargement and innovation just constantly happening. Okay. And yeah.
Mm. This gets my ideas flowing because I still need to. Yep. It's like, how can you be different? Like, what can you do? In my walks today.
Exactly. Exactly. Awesome. And then what I'm gonna do now is just briefly kind of talk more about natural selection. and kind of finish off with this. So pretty much with natural selection, what you're looking at is you're looking at an external force constantly being applied. Okay? So this external force doesn't stop on Sundays, doesn't stop on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. It's constantly being applied. Okay? And this external force is pretty much just the market of business, related to business. In nature, it is just Mother Nature herself. Okay? Let's say you're a squirrel and a hawk attacks you. You're not like, hey, it's a Sunday, you can't do that. Right? Doesn't happen. Okay? So what we're pretty much doing, I studied, like I was in pre-med school. I was supposed to become a doctor, so I know too much about evolution. But to keep things simple, variation speeds up evolution. Okay? More selective pressure also speeds up evolution. Okay? So what's an example of selective pressure in terms of ads? It would be more money spent. Okay? Let's say we're spending, this is just basic logic though. Let's say we're spending $20 a day on ads. Compare that to, let's say we're spending $200 a day on ads. The selective pressure is greater. Okay? And then when you take this force, the selective pressure, and you're applying it to a pool, this pool just can't be this. Let's say this is all one type of organism. All X's. Okay? And if you apply a force to the same thing with no variation, what's going to happen is entropy is going to kick in. And entropy is just another word for randomness. Things are just going to randomly, let's say, get knocked out. Okay? So let's say we do this. Okay? Things just randomly get knocked out. And that's not a way to go because we're business people. We're smart. We're trying to take out randomness as much as possible, and we're trying to optimize for, a clear logical truth, right? So what we're hoping to do with the selective force is increase variation as much as possible without draining the selective force. Okay, so we got Y's, we got circles, we got X's. Let's throw some squares in here. Let's maybe do a few triangles. Can anyone think of another shape?
Pentagons. The con-
That's a hard one.
There you go. Beautiful.
Okay, and then let's say selective force is applied to this, but the selective force is really low. Okay, we're not going to be able to see quickly which one of these species is the winner. Okay, what we're hoping to do is increase the selective force and increase the variation so that we're going to be able to see quickly who's the winner and like definitively who's the winner. Not like, oh, this is maybe this or this is maybe that. No. Definitively. So let's say, for example, this is Mother Nature and all of the Ys are like really weak and slow. Okay. And what happens is they get eaten by hawks because they're weak and slow. These are squirrel species. Okay. They're all weak and slow. So what happens is all the Ys are going to get taken out. Okay. Well, let's say some of them, let's say most of them. Okay. And everyone else survives. Now what happens is the market stabilizes. Okay. And now let's say the hawk is like, he's looking, can't find anything, whatever. And then he realizes that, oh my God, I can eat the X's, and then whatever, he eats the X's. And then some of the X's die. And then over time, what happens is the species that get destroyed don't pass on their genes. What happens after that? They don't pass on their genes. The ones who had those adaptations were the ones that survived, and those are the ones that pass on their genes. Okay? So what we're trying to single out is, okay, these guys are the winners. And then now what happens is if we take two test pools with a bunch of other shapes, let's say we got A's and B's in here. These are two separate environments, and then C's and D's. And we're doing the same test on another platform in another environment. And we say that A's are winners out of, let's say, we got a bunch more variation, F's as well. A is our winner. And we have two more of these, let's say Z, T, then we got, let's just say, whatever, a bunch of other variation. We find winners of each pool. So we're battling squirrels, okay? We're finding the squirrels that are the strongest from each arena. And then we're taking all of these squirrels and putting them in the Super Bowl to battle out who is the best squirrel, okay? And then let's say this squirrel, squirrel A, is the strongest squirrel out of all of these other species. Then what we're doing is we're now going, okay, squirrel A, you're gonna just have a ton more babies. We're gonna duplicate you so much. We're gonna give you 300 babies, okay? Whatever, 300 A's. And then just introduce you into the market, okay? So this is how we're running ads. Does this make sense? Because I do it all through biology.
Yeah, I mean, like if you take, I was pre-med also, so like your biology class, right? So like you have your beetles, and you know everyone in the class thought that the bright colored beetles would be the ones that last the longest because they're the most exotic, but it ends up being the ugly colored beetles that look like the background because they are the ones that don't get eaten because no one sees them. Then they make babies, those duplicate, and then so on and so forth and so forth. So as you distill the pool of potential candidates into being the ones that people actually want on each one of the mediums, then you take your winners, you then combat them against each other on the same mediums or different mediums, and then based on the results of the actual superhero or the gladiator is how I would explain it. Like out of all the gladiators, right? Then they put all the gladiators together in the wow, the word is fleeting. The what is it? Colosseum, and then the best gladiator of all of the killer gladiators is the one that wins. And then that's the one that then you just utilize to duplicate and create the killer babies from that killer gladiator.
Exactly. And then imagine, see this, let's say this is happening, okay? But in the world, Sophia, how many ecosystems exist?
Probably a lot.
Probably a lot. Exactly. I don't even know. A ton. Crazy. amounts. So imagine this happening on, let's say, from a realistic level with ads. Let's say this is happening 4 or 5 times,
Hmm.
okay? With each individual battles happening to get to another battle,
Hmm.
to get to another battle, to get to more filtering, and then each of these environments pops out a new winner. Okay. So winner, 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 winner. And then this is pulled in to a central. Okay. And then this forms another winner. Okay. And then now imagine this happening here as well, forming another winner. Okay. And then this happening here as well. I know you can't really see this because it's increased the. So
You just keep going and bigger, and then you also just keep distilling until they keep winning and winning. But like if you take something macroscopic and then like what you're doing right now, and then also understand that like mastery is actually just the basic skills. It all starts from the fundamental main questions that you ask, and then the differentiation, which is what we just went over, which is the offer, right? So like the questions you ask yourself while I'm walking, for example, like what do they want? What do they need? How much do they earn normally? What is their biggest pain? What are they insecure about? And then what do they associate happiness to, right? Then how can you be different? what is it that a female wants that could be seen as new and novel? How can I make sure that in the ad itself, the value equation and the novelty is articulated or shown with a strong enough call to action, right? Then you take that whole idea of the concept of the offer and you put it on all the different platforms. But then I'm also doing it statewide. So it's state dependent too on the like outcomes. So for example, with Gym Launch, right, whenever they did the licensing of their model, like it was like every state was different, right? And so they did like a million different variations with tons of different colors and tons of different wording of all the ads, and then they just distilled it and distilled it and distilled it into like the winner of the winner for like multiple different states depending on what region. And then that's the one that they didn't duplicated, which is what you're conceptually explaining. But the whole concept with me right now, which I would really like to know, is like tactically, how do we do this and execute on it? And like, how do we also ensure that the ads do depict that or articulate that to the public with a strong enough call to action? Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the question, right? And pretty much you explained it for me right there as well. What is an ad? An ad is something that sells. What do people want? People have basic desires, obviously. And what we're doing is we're finding ways to display that in the most convincing way. So yes, in terms of questions to ask yourself ways to display difference by still appealing to those desires. Okay. And it's not like a clear cut, oh, this is the one answer to that question. It's like, hey, there's like 10 answers to this question, and we're going to throw it into the ring and they're going to battle out.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So that's pretty much what we're doing. And also, as well, Sophia, with all this, with like the desires and all that sort of stuff as well, we don't know until we try, right? And with all of this, with all this battling happening, there's one thing that still needs to be applied, which is a selective force. Okay. When you experience scale, okay, let's say you're trying to scale 4 different arenas all at once, good luck still applying selective force that's somewhat strong. Okay. Good luck. Because that's going to be super expensive. Okay. Your scale, let's say we scale on 30 different platforms and we're trying several different variations. That is going to be very expensive if we're wanting to do it somewhat time efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we still need to keep in mind selective force when we are obviously scaling, when we are wanting to test these ads and wanting to battle them out. Okay. So I like testing, but I also want to keep in mind that test pools, yes, we got to keep them big. We got to let them battle out, but we can't go too big with it when it comes to, okay, here's 300 ideas. Let's test them all out. It's like, no. Let's use some logic. Which ones do we think are going to work best? Let's just use 5 and let's battle those out. So
Yep.
there's a duality with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's where like getting pretty good at your offer and like understanding your market is really important. Like how efficient or logic based can you already start it so that your pool doesn't have to be so guessing wise or like all these different ideas.
Exactly.
like-
And what does that come down to? That comes down to data,
Mhm.
right? And how do you get data? You get data through having running ads before and having clients before who've done the same thing, which I already have. Okay, so obviously there's less testing involved, but there's still obviously a form of testing that we're gonna have to do. Okay, awesome. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything much else to go through when it comes to specific stuff. If you have questions, like, feel free to ask me. Like, I'm at your disposal. Ask me any questions, and I can 100% answer. But I don't have really much else to kind of present on.
Yeah, like what's the offer, right? So like my thing now is like let's I mean, truly mine is like tactical. Like actually, like what can I do that differentiates me? Like what am I going to say? Like how am I going to do that? Like how do I, and then also like just dependent on what different mediums we want to use. Like like what campaigns can I like decide on? Like, you know, like how can I make myself different? That's literally what I'm thinking about right now.
Good question. Um, with your offer, you're not going to differentiate that much. Like, you're providing semaglutide.
Mhm.
That is your offer. So you can provide semaglutide with fitness coaching. You can provide semaglutide without fitness coaching. It's still semaglutide in a sense.
Yeah, but that's so much product based, right? So what I'm thinking is like, what do they actually care about? Like, they don't actually care about what the product looks like. They don't actually care about the product whatsoever. They care about like what the product will do for them. So that's whenever I was thinking like that's why I wanted to do the whole idea of like in airplanes, like having a huge billboard. But the concept is like, how can I take, for example, my UGC creator, and she's gonna have her mom and her grandma like together, and have them articulate to the public that this is something that is not scary, that this is something that is completely guaranteed, that this is something that is transformative, meaning like they truly become different beings as a result of the confidence that ensues after taking this product. How can I like articulate that this is something that like will benefit them on every level, and it's just the stepping stone towards total transformation of their mind, their body, their soul, and just like their basic understanding of how they can feel beautiful, right? Like, how do I distill all of that into a scripting for an ad that is short enough, right? That people's attention spans of like 6 seconds or 30 seconds are like understood and then can be monetized with a strong enough call to action. That is actually what I'm thinking right now.
Okay. So, but again, what's the offer?
The offer is the medication with, like you mentioned, right? Nutrition and accountability and a community.
Okay. So that's the offer.
Mhm.
How do we present that offer? Let's say I am selling you this cup. It has a little bit of liquid in it. How do I present you this cup so that you want to buy it from me?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the challenge, because if you do it like the Wolf of Wall Street, right? The first thing is to ask them questions, like ask them, you know, like don't just sell the pin. Like, why do they want the pin? You know, like what is it that you would like? Like, how can I best serve you with this mechanism so that you actually achieve what you want? Like, do you want this pin? Right? That's why we first did my first testing. That's how I found out that like their main outcome, their main desire is to feel desired, meaning to feel beautiful themselves, desiring themselves, like wanting to look in the mirror and feeling confident and beautiful. And then also having the knowledge that they can be beautiful for their husband. They can be beautiful for the person that they want, you know, like that was the whole idea. Is it's like you first figure out what they want, right? And now we do know that. So how do I take that and actually create an offer around it?
Well, you have to create angles
Mm-hmm.
and you have to test those angles. Let me give you an example. I had a gym that I was working with. Um, this was last June. Okay. He was providing personal training, class-based stuff. And I was thinking, I was like, I sat down because this is where creativity comes in. It's not all business, Alex Hormozy, logic, big claim. Okay, this is where you have to be an artist. There's artistry in marketing. Okay. So I was sitting down and I was like, okay, what angles can I build out for this guy? And this is not something where like I'm sitting down and I'm doing math. It's like I was walking, like for you, for example, when you go for a walk after this, just ponder. It's like, what can I do? Well, this guy, he's an Olympian. He's opening a gym. He has a few kids. They also compete in the Olympics. So I built out an angle regarding this crazy story of how this Olympian is opening a gym and how he cares for people. And pretty much the headline was um Olympian opens gym in Toronto, Ontario. And I built in I tested a few different, but I built out this creative angle, okay, and it crushed. It went crazy. It did like in the Toronto area, like so many people signed up. His gym got capacity, and he fired me. He's like, "Hey, I don't need you anymore. Thanks." Reach capacity. He's like, hey, thanks, bye bye. It's like, what the hell? But okay, cool. I guess you got success. Um, but yeah, so there comes a creativity to it. Everyone has an offer. Everyone has a cup. Now, how can you present that cup in a creative way under a unique angle? Because there's an
Mhm.
angle to it. What is an angle? Let me ask you this. What is an angle? In optics, what is an angle?
Um, like an angle is where two I don't know, two sides connect. An angle is contrast. An angle is yeah, contrast something. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I would say.
So what is this? This is a 90-degree angle, correct?
Hmm.
So an angle is pretty much convergence, okay? When it comes to marketing, an angle is a way to look at the same thing. Does that make sense? So I can look at this cup from this angle, from this angle, from this angle. It's still the same cup, but I'm presenting it in a different angle. That's why they call it an angle. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
The
So
perceived, yeah, yeah, like how can you create the perceived value of your thing that everyone else has as different or better or increased or improved or that's like the whole idea of like make their jaw drop. Like beauty begins when you decide you're worth it. But then like get them to see that it's losing weight. Like what can like what is that statement? Like for example, like that header, right? That like produces 80% of your results, the Pareto principle. Like the 80-20 rule. Like I like how, what is my header? Like, like that's the question. Like what is my statement? What is my
what's your headline specifically?
yeah, like how can I consolidate all the thoughts that I have into a single statement that makes people understand what the purpose is? Like make their jaw drop. Like beauty begins when you decide you're worth it.
Okay.
Like
So I'm gonna give you my workflow for how I usually go about this. Okay. So what I usually do, and again, this is not like you can't mathematize something that's creative, but this is me obviously trying my best. So what I usually do is I always start with headlines because like even with a YouTube video, I will start with the headline because that gives me a preface, a context of where I'm heading throughout the video to stay on topic. Okay? These headlines, this is a swipe file of like pretty much all so many headlines that I've collected, I've imported, etc. And a lot of these headlines are from actually the adult entertainment industry, like the porn industry
mm.
on this. Okay?
That is so crazy. I'm literally reading a book called 100 Billion Wicked Thoughts. It was recommended by Tom Bilyeu, and it's over like consolidating all the data of all these porn sites and like figuring out what the actual desire of males are and what the actual desire of females are. And it's fascinating. So please send me this because this is like idea generating, right? Like that's what the whole
Oh, of
concept of.
course. Of course. Yeah. Sit down and you read through these. And because most of the headlines obviously that were extremely popular were from this industry, right? So take a look at this. The new male sex habit that can hurt a relationship, right? Like
What he thinks during sex. Like, oh my God, that's actually probably so, so good. Like what he thinks. And then you take that and then you like put it in your idea, like what he thinks about. Anyways, sorry, I'm thinking already.
why love is harder in winter. Okay. What you should never let your gyno do. Okay. Like, for example, you go through these, and obviously you're not writing a porn headline, but the principles stay the same. Okay.
Mhm.
And then what you do, like, let me scroll up. Um, there's some templates that I gave here too. But for example, let's say I take this one, an open letter to every man and woman in Key West who wants to have better sex without feeling guilty. I will copy this. Okay. I'll throw this in a document. So I'll open it up fresh. And then I will pretty much make a version of this for my industry. So
Mhm. Oh, I can only imagine if you threw this into ChatGPT too, and you like gave it a really good understanding of your business and what you're trying to do, what the different ideas that it could come up with is. Mm-hmm.
I don't know,
Yeah, yeah,
as an
yeah,
example.
yeah,
And then you do this 100 times,
yeah.
get 100 headlines, and then you can make another few versions of this. An open letter to every mom in the USA who wants to. Okay. Oop. Who wants to um
Dima, you better get your creative juices flowing with me, honey, because I'm gonna be calling you.
I'm having that out already. I know you will.
Okay, get ready, my dear, because I shall be calling, and I'm gonna be just like probably going a million miles a minute. Yeah, that second one is so good. Who wants to feel good naked? Who wants to feel confident? Who wants to look in the mirror and love what she sees? Like, who wants to like? Oh, there's so many different ones. Mm-hmm.
make their husbands.
Jaw drop.
Yeah.
Legitimate.
Jaw drop.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see how this can just unfold, and then like you just get into a creative mood, get a coffee going, get some sun in the eyes, go in nature, and then by the time you realize that you look up you've been working for 3 hours and you've wrote 100 headlines, and then now it's like, okay, I know exactly how to build out these headlines. Like, if you have a good headline, for example, you have to start with the headline. Let's say I have a really good headline. Let's say I'm gonna use this. Who wants to feel good naked? Okay. If I have a really good headline, that's gonna form the rest of my copy. Like, I'm just gonna know, because now I already have an idea about how the copy is gonna look. So don't start the other way around. Don't write something. Da, 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 da. Write your headline first and then move from there. Okay. So
Do
yeah.
you want me to give you these today? Like, give you my ideas today? Because how are we gonna do this? Like, how are the ads gonna be built?
So I've already I have some stuff already written out with my team. Um I already have access. I think I already have access to your TikTok,
Mhm.
your Facebook. You sent that all to me. I think is it on Discord still?
Oh God, I have no idea where I sent it. I would have to look.
Okay, no worries. If you could just make sure, just double check that's in the Discord. I believe it's in there.
Mhm.
But yeah, we're gonna launch all those for you within the next few days. So hopefully, I think I have a meeting tomorrow morning with Kale. So yeah. But is this making sense though? This process?
Oh yeah, so fun.
Okay, because obviously you're the founder, Sophia, and like we said at the start of this, my goal with this is to show you how to do this rather than do it for you. Obviously, I'm doing it for you, but I want you to understand how to do this, and I want your input because, two minds are better than one, and I need you to go on a walk and brainstorm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm already definitely gonna do this. I'll just give you all of like the ideas that I have.
What I'll do is I'll share this with you.
Yeah, that would be really helpful.
Which one?
Sophie at Skinny. I'll send it to you too, Dima. And then that's what I'm gonna do all day. Like, I'm just gonna like creatively think about how I would build out these ads and like what I would want to say and like what I want articulated and the message that I want to convey and everything. And then I'm meeting with UGC creators tomorrow to quite literally like start building out ideas for like long-term growth and like how, what do I want in these videos, like all of that. And so
For sure, for sure. And just to show you as well, one of my clients, here, I know this is not specifically related to, this is still losing weight offers, but this is kind of what I do, right? So headline, body, CTA, I just kind of write, and like, I think this was in one day, I just wrote out like 9 or a bunch of angles, just to show you some of these. Okay.
yeah, these are all
Great butt and thighs at Pro Trainers Inside Secrets. Let me guess, you want to build a butt and don't know how. I get it. You look in the mirror and wonder why you weren't born with a great butt, questioning if it's possible to be like the girls on Instagram. After working with over 10,000 once bootyless clients, narrowed it down to a simple 3-step process that literally anyone can do to build the butt of their dreams. Now, when I tell you, don't be shocked. It's quite simple. Most people, when they think they are subjected to their genetics, and that changing is merely impossible. You see, the entire fitness marketplace is bombarded. Da 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 da. This ad crushed as well. I will show you one more, and then I will have to run in a sec. But just to pull up 5 of my best Facebook ads, I'll share this with you as well. So this is Sam Ovens. You obviously know who Sam Ovens is, Sophia. I think this was in 2017, from Consulting Accelerator, but these are his best ads that perform the best for him. So, I use some of these as well even still, sometimes when I write ads, I'll look at these and use these, but this copy is excellent. Okay. So definitely look through this as well, read through this and go through headlines and whatnot. So yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Yes. Excited to meet. We'll talk then.
Was this insightful?
It was incredibly so. Yeah, I want this thing going, so I'm excited.
For sure. Awesome. Okay, so we'll talk soon. Dima, was this insightful?
It was like this information are really great. I also connected them like to an old information that I have, and now like I have a good vision on this. So that was like a good call. Thank you for your sharing.
Awesome. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, guys. And get some sun. Go for a walk, Sophia.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk soon. Bye.
Ciao.